Would you trust a stranger more just because they were good-looking? Would you assume a beautiful person is also kind, smart, and trustworthy without knowing a single thing about who they actually are? Most people would say no, of course not, that's shallow. And yet, psychologists have proven again and again that this is exactly what our brains do, automatically, instantly, and without our permission. Today, I want to talk about a strange mental shortcut called the halo effect. And by the end of this video, you're going to start noticing it everywhere. In dating, in hiring, in courtrooms, even in your own snap judgments about people you've never met. So what exactly is the halo effect? In simple terms, it's a cognitive bias where one positive trait about a person, usually something as surface level as physical attractiveness, causes us to assume they also have other unrelated positive traits. If someone is attractive, our brain quietly fills in the blanks. We assume they're probably also more intelligent, more trustworthy, more competent, even more moral, despite having zero actual evidence for any of that. The term was first coined by psychologist Edward Thorndike back in the 1920s when he noticed that military officers rating their soldiers consistently ranked physically impressive men higher across completely unrelated categories, things like leadership and intelligence, simply because they looked the part. Let's talk about how researchers have tested this. In one well-known study, participants were shown photos of people they'd never met and asked to guess their personality traits based purely on appearance. Attractive individuals were consistently rated as more sociable, more successful, and even happier in their personal lives, again, with no actual information to support any of it. In another study, teachers were given identical essays to grade, but each essay was attached to a photo of a different student. Essays paired with more attractive photos received noticeably higher grades than the exact same essay paired with a less attractive photo. Same words, same arguments, same mistakes, different score. So why does our brain do this? Psychologists point to a mental shortcut called heuristic thinking. Our brains are constantly trying to make fast judgments with limited information, and beauty is an easy, visible signal to latch onto. Historically, some researchers argue physical symmetry and health cues may have signaled genetic fitness, so our ancestors' brains learned to associate attractiveness with other positive traits as a survival shortcut. Whether or not that evolutionary explanation fully holds up, the effect itself is very real in modern life, and it shows up in places with much higher stakes than a personality quiz. Take hiring, for example. Multiple studies have shown that attractive job candidates are more likely to be called back for interviews and are often perceived as more competent, even when their resumes are objectively identical to a less attractive candidate's. The same pattern shows up in courtrooms. Some studies on jury behavior have found that attractive defendants are on average given more lenient sentences than unattractive defendants convicted of similar crimes. Think about that for a second. A person's face, something they have almost no control over, can quietly influence whether a jury believes they deserve a second chance. And it's not just good things that get amplified either. There's actually a reverse version of this bias, sometimes called the horn effect, where a single negative trait causes people to assume someone is worse across the board. If someone comes across as awkward or unattractive in an interview, evaluators may unconsciously downgrade them on completely unrelated qualities too, like honesty or intelligence, even when there's no logical connection at all. So, what do we do with this information? Well, awareness alone won't completely erase the bias. Our brains are wired to make these shortcuts, whether we like it or not. But understanding that the halo effect exists can help us slow down before we make snap judgments that actually matter, in hiring decisions, in how we treat people, even in how we evaluate our own work. The next time you catch yourself assuming someone is trustworthy just because they're attractive, or dismissing someone because of a single surface-level impression, it's worth asking yourself, is this actually true, or is this just my brain taking a shortcut? I really hope you found this as fascinating as I did. If you want more videos exploring the hidden biases shaping how we see the world, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.